So today we are going to discuss another climatic factor, that is temperature. What is temperature? It is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body, and the normal range of the temperature during which the organisms they can perform physiological or biochemical activities. This range from 4 degree to 45 degrees Celsius, this is called biokinetic zone. Why? Because you all know that for various physiological or biochemical processes, the enzymes are required, and for enzymes, this is a normal range of functioning, otherwise they will get denatured. We do have certain exceptions where you know that the temperature can raise really high. It can go up to 80 degrees Celsius and somewhere 100 degree also, where the organisms are performing life activities, but the general range for most of the organisms is 4 to 45 degrees Celsius, and that range is called biokinetic zone. Now, whenever we talk about temperature, there comes a term called Van 't Hoff rule. What is this Van 't Hoff rule? It says that for every 10 degree rise in temperature, the rate of reaction doubles. Means if I have at a particular temperature, let's suppose I am having the temperature 12 degrees Celsius and I measure the rate of reaction at that R1 with 10 degree rise, means when it is becoming 22 degrees Celsius, then I measure the rate of reaction R2. So it will be double the rate of reaction at 12. Okay. Now this permits up to certain limits only. As we all know that beyond 45 degrees Celsius, the enzymes are going to get denatured. So up to certain limit this law is applicable. This is not applicable throughout in a linear relationship. It's not possible. Okay. And whenever we talk about temperature for a particular range, always we see that there is a minimum threshold for a particular activity, then it reaches the optima, and then it reaches the maxima. So there is a minimum range where the organism or that reaction is getting formed, then we reach the optimum, and then there is a maximum. Beyond that limit, the reaction will stop. Okay, so this is the general graph, and these values, as we see in other physiological processes, we call it cardinal points. So similarly here also, the temperature also has a particular minimum, maximum and optimum value for a biochemical reaction. Now I told you the life can exist. We have certain exceptions where it can exist from the range of minus 200 to 100 degrees Celsius. This is possible. We can observe it. It should be 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so up till 100 degrees Celsius, so it can survive, like the plants which are found in the ice caps, in the snow caps, or the organisms, microorganisms which are found there. Similarly, the one which grow in the hot springs, the bacteria, they are the exceptions which can grow up at the extremes of temperatures, but otherwise the normal range remains 45 degrees Celsius. Now what is thermoperiodicity? Thermo word means temperature. Periodicity means when there is a recurrence of something. So here we say that the phenomena of change of temperature during 24 hours period. Okay, so every 24 hours the same temperature cycle is going to be repeated, or we can record it over a period of year also, that okay, in the month of Jan, in the month of February, okay, and so on, we can have the same kind of temperatures next year as well. So that phenomena of the change of temperature over a period of 24 hours or an year, that is called thermoperiodicity. Now for plants, we have seen that they grow at a particular range of temperature. For example, if I am having the lower range like 10 degrees Celsius or even below that, then we see that Arctic and alpine kind of vegetation is found in that area. If the temperature is 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, then we see that it has got a temperate kind of the environment. So accordingly, that kind of plants which are favorable growing in that area, they will be found. Then 25 to 30 degrees Celsius means the tropical conditions. So there we are going to find the dense forest communities. So this is how the temperature is going to control the type of plants being found in that area. Now thermoperiodicity So these are the types of thermoperiodicity. It can be of two types. This can be seasonal or diurnal. So whether we say seasonal or annual, it means this is the one which is responsible for development stages of growth. Okay, so as you all know that different temperature ranges are required for what? Different temperature ranges are required for seed germination. Then the temperature for bulbs formation, for leaf formation, flower development, fruit development, all these different stages, they require different temperatures. All of them, they are not going to simultaneously take place at the same temperature, or if the temperature is constant. So this kind of the variation. So during the different phases of seasons, like summer season, the plant is going to grow vegetatively. Then there comes the winter season, then the plant is going to flower. So all these seasonal changes in the temperature or seasonal thermoperiodicity, that is actually helping plant to go through different stages of its life. Okay, so this is how it is important in the growth of plant. Now what about the diurnal changes in the temperature, which occurs at a period of 24 hours? So how they help plants? So they help in plants, as we all know, that high temperature during daytime, because there is sunshine. So high temperature during day and low temperature at night, means colder nights, they favor growth. It has been seen, if by chance the night temperature is high, then the plant growth remains stunted. This has been experimented in case of potato also. When you provide high temperature at night, the size of the tubers as well as the yield is lesser. So it has been seen that this variation which occurs over a period of 24 hours, that means during day there is high temperature, at night there is low, then there is high, then low. So this period of the temperature variation during day and night, this helps plants in growth. Okay, this helps plant in changing its phenology. What is phenology? Means morphologically the plant is entering into different phases, it is changing. But this is important for a particular stage, growth during a particular stage. So these are two types of thermoperiodicity, seasonal or annual, and the second type is diurnal. Then we have a term called rigor. What is rigor? It means it's a kind of the state, suspended state, when the plant is not performing any activities. So the state above the maximum temperature for growth. If I am saying for a particular species, the maximum temperature for growth is, let's suppose, 45 degrees. Okay, you can take any example. Let's suppose. So we say that when the temperature was increasing, similarly the activity of the plant was increasing. When it reached 45, after that there is no further growth. It means a rigor has achieved, a constancy is there. Okay, it's a kind of state of suspended animation. Similarly, there can be minimum also, that the plant, when you are decreasing the temperature, let's suppose now you are decreasing the temperature, so ultimately there will be a state beyond which the plant is not performing. So that will be called the cold rigor. So if the temperature beyond the maximum range you are providing to the plant and it has stopped responding, then it is heat rigor. And if you are providing the temperature below the biokinetic range for that plant, then this is called cold rigor. Okay, now on the basis of the tolerance of plants to temperature, whether they can tolerate high variation in temperature or they can grow at a very low range. So accordingly we have different categories of plants. So we will define here total 6 categories. The first one is called stenotherms. What are stenotherms? Steno always means a narrow range. It means the plants have a narrow range of tolerance for temperature. Let's suppose I'm talking about a plant which is going to grow at the range of 5 to 8 degrees Celsius, as we see those which are growing in the hilly areas. So when the temperature is going to change, let's suppose the temperature becomes 2 degree, or it becomes 0 degree, or in the upper limit it becomes 10 or 12 degree, then the plant growth will be retarded. It is not going to support that temperature change. Means there is a very low range of tolerance. Then we say that these are stenotherms. It may be a plant corresponding to the low temperature, or we can have an example for the high temperature also, but the range is narrow. Okay, it doesn't grow beyond that range, so then we call it stenotherms. Example is we see as in hilly plants like picea is there, we call it spruce, white spruce or fir it is also called. So in picea we have different species, colored cones are also formed, sometimes we have black colored cones. So in that it doesn't allow a lot of variation in the temperature. Then comes second, eurytherms. Eury means wide. Now these are the plants which can tolerate wide range of temperature. Means you can see growing these plants in the hilly areas, in the plain areas. It means they are growing at a very low as well as high temperature. You must have seen this is a common weed, because these are generally weed species which can thrive well at huge variation of temperature. So Artemisia, it's a weed. It's a plant which has got aromatic oil in it, which has got lot of medicinal value as well as health issues like allergy, etc. Because you can yourself see this somehow looks like Parthenium, Congress grass, but its foliage is lighter in color, and this is the inflorescence of the plant. From here also you can differentiate that it is not Parthenium. Okay, it has produced number of pollen and they result in the allergic reactions, but otherwise the plant contains lot of essential oil and it has got many medicinal value. It can be used as antibacterial agent for controlling other weeds also. The use has been proposed. So one plant is Artemisia. You can see it growing in the hilly areas as well as in the plains. Then another you all must have seen is Lantana. Lantana, when you visit some mountains, you will observe that whole of the mountain surface hills that is covered with this plant Lantana. And here in the plains, when we have some barren land, there also it flourishes well. So these plants, they can tolerate wide range of temperature. Like they are comfortable in every kind of the temperature. So that's why they are flourishing as weeds. Okay, then third category is hechistotherms. Hechisto word is for typically cold environment. So if at a particular place the temperature is very low, the kind of vegetation which is growing there, that will be called hechistotherm. And you all must have seen the areas which are all most of the time of the year which are covered by snow, they have this kind of the vegetation which are called alpine forest. Okay, so they can survive in the colder conditions. Then comes microtherms. Now see, here we will be using the term micro, meso, mega. Now it is not in relation to the range. Earlier categories were in relation to range. This is in relation to temperature. Okay. The micro means we are talking about low temperature. Meso means we are talking about the low temperature as well as summer. Means we will discuss that. Okay. So it is not corresponding to the range. So plants in microtherms, they grow in the region where the temperature throughout the year is low. Summers are there, but they are only warm summers. There is no high temperature recorded. They are the kind of very comfortable summers. Okay, so most of the times the temperature remains low. So when it is low means micro. So when the plants are growing at low temperature and summers are also warm, these are the conditions we generally found in our hilly areas. Whenever you move towards the belt of Solan, Hoshiarpur, you see their coniferous forest. So they are called microtherms. Here you can see the example of pinus. These are all pinus forests, which are here you can see cones also. So these are of the type which are found in the colder regions, and during summers also the temperature doesn't go very high. Then next category, the fifth is mesotherms. Now what are mesotherms? They can tolerate low winter and high summer temperature. Okay, So now means during the winter the temperature is low, during summer the temperature is high. So they have this kind of the adaptations as we find in our area. So at most of the places where you see this kind of the temperature difference, tropical deciduous plants they grow. You must have seen in our belt also that during the autumn season most of the plants they shed their leaves, because we have this kind of the environment where winters are having low temperature and summers are having high. So there is a huge temperature difference between these seasons. That's why you observe deciduous forest in these areas. Now the last category is megatherms. What are megatherms? Now mega here means high temperature. Okay, so means the plants which are growing in an environment where throughout the year the temperature is high. Okay, so that's why I was saying we are not talking about the range. This was micro for low temperature conditions. Meso means comfortable. During winters low temperature, during summers high temperature. Then we have mega, only high temperature conditions throughout the year, and where we find this kind of the conditions in the regions which are near equator. Means the tropical rainforest where direct sunlight is going to fall, and because of the high intensity, high heat is there, so temperature is very high. That results in the development of the plants which are called megatherms. So you can see here, this is the rainforest area which is all covered. The canopy is very dense. These are evergreen. So throughout the year you can find lush green strands growing in that area. And see, you can see here the reference of strata also. Different strata are there. These are the topmost. Then you have the almost in comparison to that they are contenders. Then there is another layer, right? And there is a understory, the ground vegetation. So different strata they had formed in the tropical rain forests. Okay, so that's all for today. We'll continue with the distribution of plants and law associated with it in the next lecture.